Good afternoon, good evening. I welcome everyone to this webinar. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share an overview of PMI Infinity with all of you. I'm happy that all of you are here and not watching the solar eclipse that's just going to happen. So I'm really thrilled that you're here to hear more about Infinity. All right, so before we dive into learning about Infinity, I want to share a bit about myself. I'm Ranjith Nair. I'm a Director of Innovation at PMI. I lead product development of PMI Infinity. Previously, with PMI, I was a product manager with the certifications team. I had introduced the concept of thank you. Yeah. I had introduced the concepts of PMI micro credentials. I'm not sure if folks have taken micro credentials here, so that was a concept that I introduced and built and designed and launched a few micro credentials. That's been one of our successful products. And then I built PMI Study Hall, which is a digital product that helps prep for the PMP certification. That was again a new digital product aimed at the certification needs more in terms of like the certification prep mock exams, right? So that's been another successful product for us. And then I relaunched PMI RMP, both in English and in Arabic as well. Prior to PMI, I was doing something very different. Not in the educational field. I was in the capital markets arena, where I work for a few large financial organizations, and I've created a few B2B and B2C products, mainly B2B products involving both machine learning and AI as well. Cool. So now let's dive into the product, into our session today. So what will we talk about today? So we will cover state of AI adoption in enterprises, just to give you an idea of how enterprises are thinking about AI. And then we'll talk about why are we building Infinity, what exactly is Infinity, and then go to a demo of a use case. Then we'll come back to the presentation and talk about the future roadmap of Infinity, which I'm really excited to share with all of you. Excuse me. Then I'll also share how you can be part of our product development process. We do have an exciting roadmap, and we do want to work closely with the community. So it'll be really good. Get to know a few of you and work along with you as we develop Infinity. And then we'll wrap it up with a Q&A and go through the Mentimeter results as well. Merv, are you sharing the Mentimeter right now with everybody, or is it something that we do as we go?
Sorry about the delay. Yes, so the Menti slide's not showing at the moment, but I will pop. Okay. The next one I've got is how to use PMI Infinity, and pop that up and show the results as and when you need it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So I want to start with just giving you an overview of how AI landscape has impacted project management. Right? When I talk to many PMs, they say that AI is new to project management. Well, I think that's sort of wrong to assume that AI in project management is a new trend. It's been around for many years, right? And of course in very different forms. In the 1980s, it was around the concept of automated project management systems using computer programs. The idea was of using artificial intelligence or expert systems softwares to help project managers capture experiences and share with others. Right? So that was in the 1990s. In the 1980s, in the 1990s, it was more about neural networks for construction projects. That was the initial concept or idea of neural networks. And that was primarily around predictive forecasting budget performance for construction-related projects. Then there were ideas about project management bots in the early stages, named as agent-based project management, that started being developed as well. In the 2000s, with an increase in computational power and data-driven approaches and analytics were being explored to help classify, extract, and understand information from project management documentation. In 2010s, with the advancements of data analytic tools and machine learning models and the availability of cloud computing platforms, and there were a bunch of other software solutions for project management. Several applications started implementing AI and ML-based features very specific to project management. In 2020s, where we are right now, with the advancements of LLMs and NLPs and the successful release of ChatGPT for public use, generative AI has sort of become very common now, and it is supporting project management and many other functional areas within organization. This is our area of focus today. All right, before we dive into Infinity again, I do want to share the state of AI adoption by enterprises. So we have through research, we've understood that 81% of project professionals say that their organizations are impacted by AI technology. We see that this is a significant impact. We see that this is a significant impact for all the project professionals who are managing projects across various different functional units. Right? Top technologies increasing productivity. We see our RPA, which is robotic process automation, reinforcement learning, machine learning, and now generative AI as well. Um, there was a research that was conducted by BCG and released during the World Economic Forum, which indicated that AI and especially Gen AI are top three tech priorities for 2024. However, about 90% of the executives, sorry, 90% of the executives in these organizations were sort of like waiting for Gen AI to move beyond the hype cycle so that they can find out the actual potential use of Gen AI and adopt it in their organizations. Right? At least two-thirds were dissatisfied with their organizational progress on Gen AI. And the main reasons for this dissatisfaction or not adopting AI as quickly as they need to was because of lack of talent and skills, unclear AI and Gen AI roadmap, and there's basically no strategy for responsible deployment of AI. Now, I feel that the opportunities here will be for organizations who prepare their talents to take on this AI transformation and effectively implement successful projects, products, or services. While we do see there were some barriers for adoption, and enterprises are still figuring it out. In another recent report from Anderson and Horowitz, they see that enterprises are now willing to spend close to 2.5 times the amount they had planned in 2023 to work specifically on LLM technology, right? While previously we did see that there were some apprehensions, while we do see that this trend is sort of evolving, and the adoption of LLMs is being discussed in a lot of project management settings and in a lot of strategy sessions as well. All right. So as the adoption is still in its infancy, many enterprises are figuring out how to evaluate their ROI, and some of them believe that um, while they are still evaluating on how exactly to measure it, they believe it's been positive. Some are focused on ROI from new revenue opportunities. Those are through new products that they're launching or new services that they're bringing to market. While some are focused completely deploying it internally to improve their operational efficiencies and evaluating the ROI based on cost savings. PMI Infinity aims to help enterprises maximize their project success, leading to enterprise cost savings. So our complete focus is to help enterprise help manage or have effective project management practices in place. All right, so that was some brief about um, enterprise adoption of AI. Um, and now let's just talk about why are we building Infinity, and what are the problems that we're trying to address. Right? So PMI research says that about 70% of projects fail to achieve their objectives because of budget overruns, scheduling conflicts, suboptimal decision making, resource shortages, and inefficient project management practices. Right? In a very alarming trend, for about every $1 billion spent by organizations, the organizations are also likely to squander about $97 million due to inefficient project management practices. From speaking to our community of project professionals, we understand that project managers who are so crucial in ensuring this project success, right? Sometimes have inadequate skills, tools, and time to tackle all of these challenges that arise in projects. This obviously contributes to a very high rate of project failures. So, our value proposition hypothesis to solve the previously mentioned problems is that we want to provide project professionals with an AI copilot that can provide accurate, trustworthy responses to their queries, recommendations to their project issues, and help improve their productivity and efficiencies for commonly performed tasks through AI tools. This we believe can lead to increased project success, and this is the value hypothesis that we are is what we're building PMI Infinity with. All right, so what exactly is PMI Infinity? So PMI Infinity is a generative AI copilot designed for project professionals, which offers accurate and reliable solutions for their project management queries and recommendations for solving project issues. Right? The tool offers a conversational interface, very much like any of your other generative AI products that you may have used, like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity, or any of these different tools. It offers the same conversational interface. At the moment, the tool leverages the OpenAI GPT architecture. We're currently running on an instance of OpenAI's GPT 3.5. We'll soon upgrade to GPT-4 Turbo. Rather, we actually have a GPT-4 Turbo instance running in testing right now. Some of them may be involved in that testing. But unfortunately, Microsoft has not given us a go-ahead to launch GPT-4 Turbo into production. So we're still waiting a go-ahead from Microsoft. However, just last week, we've sort of got grandfathered access to GPT-4, not the Turbo version, but just GPT-4. So we're looking at building up a new instance of PMI Infinity using GPT-4 and launch it into the market hopefully sometime next month. In terms of how the tool exactly functions, the tool understands users' prompts. Once we understand the intent or the context of the prompt, the tool searches our knowledge base to find appropriate content to create a response for the prompt. And in cases where we do not find suitable response or suitable content to create a response, we rely on OpenAI's knowledge base to create a response for you. For example, if you ask the tool who's Tom Cruise, PMI does not have that data, so you will not be able to curate a response for you. So we rely on OpenAI's knowledge base to create that response for you and display that information. We did discuss a bunch of times within our teams that should we sort of restrict the user experience only for project management related queries or tasks, right? However, I feel like that was sort of like a barrier to a good experience you can have with a tool, that there could be queries sometimes that is outside of project management that you may want to get a quick answer for, and then we should still be able to provide you. So we've sort of kept a very open architecture in that regard. I do want to highlight that all of your data is safe with PMI. Though we do leverage OpenAI's GPT architecture, OpenAI does not have access to any of your prompts, any of your responses. It does not have access to store any of your details at all, right? So it's sort of like a black box that we hit the engine, create the response for you, generate the response, but they do not store any of the information, or they cannot even leverage any of the prompts or responses for their training purposes. To talk about some key features, the tool offers a great way to navigate and search for about 14,000 pieces of PMI's content. Um, we're going to keep updating this knowledge base again and again. I'll cover that in our roadmap slide. For all our responses that we generate, we cite the original sources so that if users can basically trust the response that is coming from an authenticated and vetted source of PMI. And we also provided a direct link to those sources so that you could go ahead and read for further exploration. For every response, we also display recommended follow-up prompts for deeper exploration. So I'll show that during our demo that you can see that for every response uh, we show about three different recommended prompts so that you can go deeper into the topic as well. From In terms of our content itself, our content are trusted and vetted in our knowledge base. While we do have some community generated content as well. The product is right now free for all PMI members. We're going to work on a paid subscription program for non-members, which will be coming up soon as well. All right, so with that brief understanding of PMI, let's go look at a use case that we can experiment with PMI and then show the results. Hey, Mo.
Ranjith,
Yep.
I'm back. I was just going to mention the Minty question. We put up there, have you used PMI Infinity? And people are voting. They've been voting already. Let me just show my screen so we can see there. So you can see there. Okay, let's just do that. Here we go. Very surprising. It was a bit less than I'd expected. We've got 28% yes, 72% no. So you've got an interesting challenge here to sign up more users, Ranjith.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really cool.
We've got more answers coming in. One more question, perhaps, before you go on, and there may not be many people that can answer this, but in which of the following areas have you applied PMI Infinity? Which of the following areas? So let's just wait a moment as that comes in. We'll leave the question up as well.
You have a comment that says Minty does not appear to be online.
I'm sure there'll be many other ways in which people have used it, or they will as a result of this evening, but looks like we've got some usage across each of those areas.
Project planning and scheduling. That's nice.
Okay, so if I stop sharing, you want to press on, then that'd be great.
Sure. All right, so that was good. Capture of data, surprising. That 70% of the folks have not tried it. You should definitely go try it. If you are a PMI member, please do log in. It's absolutely free for you. Yeah. All right, so I do want to take you through one use case today, and that is it's a use case that is sort of common for project managers and Scrum masters who are running agile projects, right, and building softwares. So I'm going to go through this use case and then we'll figure out how PMI Infinity can really support you here. So as a Scrum Master in a tech startup, I'm guiding an agile team through development of an innovative health and fitness mobile app. The app will be completed in 6 months with bi-weekly sprints. I've also noticed that there's been a decrease in team morale. I believe that this is mainly because of failing to meet our sprint goals. The sprint retrospective design for reflection and adaptation have become increasingly frustrating. And the reality is just because that we're not meeting our sprint expectation. It seems our estimation process may need improvement. And then the idea is let's see how Infinity can help me out here. I feel like this is a very common use case that a lot of Scrum Masters and PMs would have faced. Alright, I'm just gonna bring up my homepage for Infinity here. Alright, so this is PMI Infinity. This is our homepage. When you land on PMI Infinity, or when you are logging into PMI Infinity, at first you will be asked to sign a legal document, and then once it's through it, you should land onto this particular homepage. So on our homepage, you could see that there are four basic prompts that you can start your conversations with. Again, as you see right now, it's very learning based. I would say that the four tasks that you or the four prompts that you see are very learning based. We will soon change these prompts to more what do you say task based prompts, so that we could actually start seeing the value that PMI Infinity can bring to you. Just if you're starting a journey, you can directly start seeing the value that Infinity is able to generate directly through any of these prompts. Right? So that's something that is coming up as well. So you could begin your journey through clicking one of these four tiles, or you could directly ask a question in the open question box. So we'll begin by typing in a response today. So for this demo, I've prepared some few questions that we could go through. So question number one I'm going to ask is, I want to help my agile team estimate the task for the next iteration. Could you provide me with a list of potential estimation tools? Right. So while the answer is being generated, I just wanted to speak about a few other features. For every prompt and every response that is being produced, you have an ability to stop response production. If you don't like the response that is being produced, you can straight away stop the response. Or if you feel like you would want to go ahead and change the query itself, the first query you input, you also have the option to edit the message.
Ranjith,
Yeah.
we've had one or two people say in chat they're finding it difficult to read. Is there any way of doing it extra screen estate or?
Okay, I can zoom in as much as I could. I think it won't, it won't be fair to my user interface.
That's better. But all right, thank
all
you
right,
for that.
all right, cool, thank you. All right, so a couple of features was when the response was being generated, you could stop the response and then go ahead, begin to ask a new question if you want to. Or if you want, you could always edit the response and then ask a new question if you want to as well. I'll show this on the editing soon. So for every response, we also do show, um, go to full screen view. This is full screen. Am I missing something? Okay. Oh, I think that was for the folks who are viewing it. All right. So for every response, we do show that this response was powered by PMI proprietary content. This is when PMI has the content and we're able to produce a response for you. In terms of when we do not have the content, you will see that this response is from OpenAI, right? So we're being very transparent in terms of what is the knowledge base we've used to produce the response for you. Right now, just through pure data, I can tell you that we are able to serve about 87% of all the prompts related to project management. We are able to answer through PMI's knowledge base, and only about 13% of the prompts do we really have to rely on OpenAI's knowledge base. Another important feature is that, and something that all our users have really liked, is that we also display sources from what we've leveraged to create this particular response for you. So as you can see for this question, which is related to Agile, we've used the Agile Practice Guide and also the PMBOK Guide of 7th edition to create the response for you. In total, we normally display about three different sources if three sources were used to create generate the response. Right now for this response, only two of them were used, so we display two. If only one of them were used, then we display one. For responses that were generated from OpenAI, we do not display any of the sources. You also have an option to quickly copy the response, now paste it wherever you want, use it for any other purposes you need. You also can give us quick feedback, which I really appreciate if you can do. Will help us with our analysis of identifying which of our content is good, which of our content is not so great, so that we can continuously enhance our content base to produce great responses for you. So you can click good thumbs up for helpful or not helpful for thumbs down. This was the recommended prompt section that I spoke about, where you can, instead of you typing a particular prompt, you can, these are system generated prompts that is related to the topic which you're asking. So the model understands the context and configures three different prompts that you can go ahead and talk to the product about. All right, so in terms of the response itself, we see that for this question, the model is saying that we could use planning poker, we could do t-shirt sizing, we could do affinity mapping, or we could do wide brand delving. Right? Now, those are four different options. I do not want four options, I just wanted one. So what always helps the model is if you can always provide a lot more context and um, a lot more context and sort of like ask it to personalize your image, right? So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a lot more context and say, just give me one suggested technique that I should be using. Right. So this is basically the use case that we went through. I'm asking you to suggest one estimation technique and giving it a lot more context in terms of what is happening in my project, how many developers do we have, and then asking me to come back and give me a good response. All right, so it says based on the information produced, it seems like a 3D mapping technique could be a good fit for your team, and also goes into an explanation on why that particular technique is being recommended. Um, Additionally, it allows for really precise tasking, breaking down tasks into more manageable pieces, etc., etc. Okay. While this definitely suggests that it is able to break down different tasks and so it is more manageable, I do want to see that one of my main problems that I'm facing is team morale. So let's figure out why is it suggesting this one for improving my team's team morale. So let me ask that question. Could you tell me why using affinity mapping improves my team's morale? As you can also see, one of the things that we're also going to work on is, which has been something that has been requested by a lot of our users, has been just to keep the sources here for all the different conversations. And that is something that we're working on right now. And in the next few months, we should be able to show the different sources for all the previous conversations we've had as well, or we're able to store the sources, I should say. All right. So my recent question, it says it encourages collaboration, discussion. It provides a sense of accomplishment and it identify gaps in team connections. So obviously, if we are able to work on all of these three different points, it obviously increases, it builds better collaboration between the team members, and then and it should directly affect the team morale. It should definitely go up. All right. With that, what I also want to do is now say, okay, I am convinced, saying that affinity mapping. I mean, it's just an example. If you're not, that's fine. Uh, Affinity mapping is the right technique, but I want to understand how exactly should I use affinity mapping, and if I'm asking Infinity if it can provide some examples. So while the system is generating a response, a few other features of the product, all your conversational history is stored on the left navigation panel. There'll be few other new features that will be coming up, which will be launched very shortly. So you can always go back to any of the conversation history and begin start to have a new conversation with the client. Right? as you can see in the last 7 days and older, all the other conversations. All right. You can see that the tool tried to give you an example of a visual image, which it was not able to produce. This is what do you say, a restriction of GPT 3.5, which once we move to GPT 4, we will be able to produce this image and display this image. You could ask what can go wrong in a demo other than technical issues. Exactly this, because this was not there before. So it provides more details in terms of how exactly that you should go about working on affinity mapping. It goes about different steps that you could leverage, and then gives you an example as well. Okay, I had to give you an example here, but then maybe it produced a visual example. All right, so that was a very quick demo for you about what the tool can do. If there are any um, prompts that you guys want me to try, I'm happy to try it. I do want to just talk to a few other features of the product. You can always start a new conversations by clicking on new chat, and you can begin your conversation here. There's ways for us to ways for you to provide feedback here. If you click on provide feedback, you can give us a quick feedback in terms of how happy you are or not happy you are with the product, expectations you have with the product, and also improvement features or features that you would want us to build. We really value your feedback, so if you can, whenever you're using Infinity, I do encourage please do provide feedback. Do provide feedback. You could also see there's a new banner feature that we worked on where we can do show different results. This is an area that we will be able to display announcements of new products, new courses that's coming out from PMI, and also a few other new features that we'll be working on, so that it's right there for you. Mark, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was just going to make one observation. One thing I found really successful with this was I work in benefits management, I think I said earlier, and I'm looking to develop an integrated benefits management system. So I asked for a set of non-functional and functional requirements. And what I got out of it, out of Infinity, was gold dust. It really set me on my way. So I think those kind of specifics, you can hit the jackpot. And that was what it was like for me. So, and I've tried other things, but I just thought I'd mention that particular one.
Thanks, Mark. That's really helpful. And I just use this one use case here just to show all of you. But again, you can leverage this product the way you can sort of leverage generative AI, right, for any situations. Like I use this tool for to like summarize, write an email for me sometimes. Different situation depending on the situation I am in, like project planning. I use it to draft a rough initial project plan for me, so I get good ideas of what are the different steps I should go through. So the options are sort of endless. It is up to you to sort of see what are the different areas that you can completely leverage the product for.
Yeah, I know we're going to come to Q&A later, but there's one I've just spotted from Anika, which is about using Infinity for practicing exam questions for PMP. And I think you mentioned study hall as well. Did you want to just kind of recap on that before we move on?
Sure. We do see that a lot of them are actually inputting PMP questions on it to ask to verify if the answer is right or wrong. That is one approach that you can use Infinity for. However, we've not really configured the product for learning per se, but that's a use case that we see a lot of users using it for. But also in terms of understanding concepts, that is really really good. So you could ask it very clear definitions questions, and it'll be giving you answers from all our PMI sources. In terms of in study hall itself, study hall, mainly the value proposition there is like mock exam questions, which sort of is different from how Infinity is configured.
Yeah, certainly have some experience of study hall. I was going to let you go on, but I'm kind of torn. There's a good question here from David Brown. I don't know if you can see it. fact, I might even be able to pop it on the screen. Let's
Yeah.
try that. There we go. Is any of the data in our prompts incorporated into the PMI part of the model or used to train the model itself? How does it learn from our prompts?
Yeah, that's a great question. At the moment, we're not training the model. We're using the prompts only for analysis purposes. So we're trying to figure out what are the different sort of categories or main use cases that the PMs are leveraging the product for. So we're just doing some what we're calling internally like topic modeling and prompt modeling to classify them into different buckets and try to sort of like I'm speaking more. I should wait for the roadmap and then I'll be able to address that question more
Why,
clearly.
why not do that? Do the roadmap and
Yeah.
then we can come back. Yeah.
All right. A few other things just before I go into the roadmap slide is if you need any help and have questions, we have an FAQ here which should address most of the questions that you may have. Or if you have any specific question for us, you can always email us at infinity@pmi.org and we'll definitely reach out to you. So that was a quick demo. If there are any specific prompts you want me to try, please let me know, or I can move back to the presentation itself, and then we can carry on. All right. Before I take questions, I just wanna get this screen off. Can all of you see my screen? Okay. Yes. All
Yeah,
right. Thank you.
yeah, it's going to.
All right. Perfect. So now that we've seen the current state of the product, I do want to acknowledge that the current state, or what I call like mostly the system prompt, is very configured towards a learning base, right? We sort of lean towards how can we help you learn different aspects of project management. But what we've realized and talking to a lot of project managers is that we need to sort of like pivot towards a very task-based tool. They want to leverage Infinity to get things done on a day-to-day basis. Right? So that is the pivot that we are actually going to make with Infinity. Starting with, we really want to help our members understand all all things that Infinity can do, like all the real value of Infinity. So one of the things we're starting off with is moving from GPT 3.5 and upgrading the product to GPT 4. We're working on it. GPT 3.5 has very relatively low context understanding, and we see a significant improvement once we move to GPT 4. One is that it's able to understand the intent or the context really well, but also it's able to what do you say? It is able to process a lot more knowledge from PMI's knowledge base, so to be able to produce a much better response for you. Right? We'll also continue to make work on improving the responses, that individual responses you have. We'll work on making them richer. We'll have something that my team is working on right now is adding on templates and checklists. So for responses or questions like if you ask it what is a project charter, it should come up with a response of the project charter, but also a template on where you could download a project charter. GPT 3.5 does not have the capabilities for you to have in response downloads. So that's something that GPT 4 will allow us to do. So in the future, you should be able to generate a project charter on Infinity, you'll be able to download it, put it over a doc, and straight away use it from Infinity. Right? That is something that we are all working towards too. And then we're also working on capabilities like where you'll be able to upload a project document, analyze that, and then get you the results from the analysis you're looking for. And one of the main experiments that we're going to do is what we're going to call as guided experiences. Right? Guided experiences is where a user will be guided to learn about a specific topic or practice a specific topic or accomplish a certain task using GenAI. Right? The idea here is that our users, just by understanding them, we've learned that not a lot of users are proficient in prompt engineering, right? So they're not able to leverage the value of Gen AI completely. So we feel that if we are able to guide users based on their need, saying, for example, if you want to learn about a topic, we're able to guide you to that particular topic. Or if you want to practice how to use Gen AI to perform a particular task. And I'm pretty sure that how you're performing your project management task at the moment is not how you will be performing the same task in about 3 or 4 years. Right? So we're trying to be ahead of the game. We're trying to see how we can help you um, do, do your task better, or help you with achieving a specific outcome that you have through the tools, where you'll be able to either upload your project documents or share your details with a conversational AI, and then achieve that particular outcome. Or you go through one of these practice-based outcomes to continuously learn how to use generative AI. So that's our goal with guided experiences. So there's we're beginning to work on that, and then sometime in Q2 we should be able to launch a few of those guided experiences. We'll also continuously work on enhancing our knowledge base. We're working closely with our community. Uh, we're launching something called as a community contributor program, where if you want to contribute to creating knowledge or content for Infinity, you can work with us to create specific pieces where at the moment we need the content for. That's a new program that we will be launching. We'll be updating the knowledge base continuously with all PMI's proprietary content. So we just recently launched the standard for program management, the latest standard for program management. That has been updated. So we continuously keep enhancing the knowledge base. We're also working with academic institutions to see how we can get their content on the platform. So again, enriching the knowledge base, and also some domain experts. While domain experts, we call other associations, like there are a few other project management or closely related associations we want to collaborate with. Examples would be like GPM will be able to bring in sustainability content for us. So you'll be able to get more richer responses for all of your uh, prompts. On the other side is something what we're calling for the guided experience is also the tools. The tools is basically something that will help you get a particular job done, right? This is aimed at helping you improve your project efficiency and productivity. We're also going to work on co-developing these tools with other associations. And another area that we want to infuse AI into is the learning paths in PMI. So if you're preparing for the CAPM or the PMP in the future, you will have an Infinity element added to the course. So while you're going through the course, you'll be able to see how to actually complete that task on Infinity and continue your journey preparing for the course, preparing for the certification. Um, Another feature that we are actively working on is what we're calling as a prompt library and tutorials. So for a prompt library, what we've understood is that project managers are very busy people, and they may not have time to understand all the nuances of prompt engineering, right, and get the best out of the Gen AI product. So we're working on oops, um, so we're working on this concept of prompt engineering, prompt library, where we're going out to the community and asking them, saying, how have you leveraged PMI Infinity, or how have you leveraged a Gen AI product? Please share those prompts with us so that the other community members can benefit from them. So we'll have this on Infinity, integrated with Infinity. So you should be able to look at a prompt which other community members have used, depending on the categories. For example, if it's an agile, we have agile related prompts, risk management related prompts, stakeholder management related prompts, and you should be able to leverage those and begin a conversation with the tool. With the tutorials, it's the same concept, but it's a little more expanded. This is a video-based tutorials where we will look at pain points that Infinity has been able to solve for the community, work with the community to identify those use cases, and create video-based tutorials that other users can learn and understand the different ways to leverage Infinity. All right, so that was on the quick roadmap. I hope that was helpful. Um, I do want to just touch upon that. Other than Infinity, there are a bunch of things that PMI is doing. from the AI perspective. One, obviously, we touched on Infinity. We have a digital AI community that's on projectmanagement.com. Please um, do subscribe and be a part of it. There's a lot of conversations that we generally have in those forums. It's good for you to sort of like understand what other project managers are using it for, but also for you to take part in. That's sort of like a sensing mechanism that we use. And normally, if I have a question to reach out to project managers, that's the first place that I reach out to. And then the thought leadership, we just released a new report on prompt engineering essentials. If folks have not seen it, please do go ahead and view the report. It's a great report. Tells you the different prompt engineering techniques that you have that you could go and see as well. And then we have an AI learning courses. We've launched two AI courses at the moment. One is Generative AI overview, and then the data landscape. We're working on the third course, which is going to be on prompt engineering, which will also be released very soon. All right. So in terms of how you can stay connected with us, if you just want to know about general AI stuff on what's coming up with PMI, please do scan this QR code, sign up the form, and we'll keep you informed. But if you do want to be involved in the product development process of testing, content development, we do have continuous testing throughout the entire year planned out. If you do want to be part of that, please do email us on infinity@pmi.org. Okay, with that, I conclude my presentation. I hope it was fun. I hope you guys got to learn something new.
Thank you so much for that, Ranjith. That's been absolutely brilliant. It's come out to 8 o'clock, so I've provided a link there to the post-event survey. We want to know what you thought. If you complete the survey, you'll get the PDU code at the end. That's the deal. So please do complete that survey. One or two of you asked about the recording and the slides. Ranjith's made some slides available. The recording we'll post on our website. We'll send a link out tomorrow. So we've got that for you. There are a few questions in the Q&A. We will go on to 8:10. We'll cut it, but let's see how many questions we can get through. This is one that, I guess the more I've heard about your plans, the more I think, how big is your team?
We don't have a very big team, to be honest. In fact, with the Infinity beta product that we launched in Summit, we built that in two months. Right? From the ideation to launch, it was like exactly it was 45 business days that we took to launch the product. The team is pretty small, but very efficient, I would say. We have a technology team of about 15, 16 people, and the product team consists of about like seven, 7 to 10 members at the moment. So not a very big team, but we're a pretty potent team.
Okay. And what about the key skills? What do you need if you're going to build a high-performance team of that type?
I think that's a great question. I think we're actually looking at various dynamics within the team. So I come with an experience of building B2B and SaaS-based products, and I have a lot of experience with AI products. So a few folks in the team have AI experience. Then we have a lot of project management experience folks within the team, and then we also have content experts in the team. So it's the experience is sort of very diverse. We're trying to bring in all of those different expertise together to continue to work. And we have a brand new marketing team as well who's supporting us.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. Here's another question. Can the Infinity tool support us with navigating intrapersonal dialogue, face-to-face or online, cultural considerations, especially when working in global teams? I know a lot of us face those challenges. How can Infinity help?
Excuse me. At the moment, we don't have it sort of connected with internet yet, and we don't have that on our roadmap just at the moment. Strictly with all the amount of work we have, we don't have that on our roadmap. So it won't be able to do any face-to-face conversations, but ideally what folks are using that for is I had a lot of folks using it for conflict management, right? They were in a certain conflict with their boss or with their team and they do not know how to solve it. They come and describe the exact problem on Infinity, and Infinity is able to sort of like suggest them the next steps to do. So a lot of them have sort of taken recommendations and then gone offline, so not offline, technically online, and then implemented that with their peers or with their team. Did that answer
Okay,
that question? I
I
hope
think
so.
so. Yeah, I think so. Let's pop that question up from Mary that's been asked in chat. Is it ready for
Absolutely.
use and waiting? Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity is ready for use. If you are PMI member, it's for free. And you will actually, when we move to GPT-4, it's going to be a lot of cost savings for you because GPT-4 access on OpenAI will cost you about $240. We are offering that for free for anybody with PMI membership, no extra cost. The product is live now. If you can go to infinity.pmi.org, you should be able to access it. So let me just put that link right here. I should have started with that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's ask this question. I think it was. Oh, I pressed the wrong. Hang on. Let me go back. I pressed to reply to. Here we go. What are the cyber risks? I think that was perhaps hinted at in
Yeah.
one of the earlier Menti questions.
I think, well, this is a very difficult question to answer. Let me see how to answer this correctly. Uh, at PMI, I think we follow all the standard procedures for any cyber security threat. If the question is around how safe is my data with PMI, it is pretty safe. We don't have any great cyber attacks on us, so your data is safe. We follow all the security standards, all the security protocols to keep your data as safe as possible. Within Infinity, we do have an FAQ that sort of goes in much more detail and explains about the security questions. But if there are anything that surprisingly worries you in terms of like how safe this for me to use, but I'm a little concerned, please drop me an email and then we could have a discussion about
Okay, so now I've just changed the Menti question if people are following that, which deals with concerns. Got one more question here. I'll highlight it before I read it out. How inclusive is it with analysis of project specification and other project documents? I work in construction industry, and any they paramount to any project. How would Infinity make the difference?
Okay. I think what I understand from the question is how different are different project documents.
Yeah.
If that is the question, we are not yet on GPT-4. Once we are on GPT-4, we'll begin with initial analysis of project documents. What we're thinking of is like the project charters, project scope documents, all of those initial documents. Once we start handling those initial set of documents, then we should be able to handle much more complex documents. But that's coming down the line. The 3.5 GPT does not have that capability to
Okay.
analyze documents yet.
Got you. What about? And we met at the global summit. Clearly, there's a
Yep.
lot of great presentations, a lot of great content. There's another summit next week. Is it possible to hoover up that content and upload that?
The content of the summit.
The content of the summit. So the presentations, I went to a number on
Right.
AI, and there are many more in Berlin next week.
Yeah, that's a great conversation. We had actually never thought of that, so that's a great idea. I will talk to my content team about it. So thanks, Mike. That was a good idea.
Okay, I can certainly give you some recommendations on what I hear next week.
Absolutely. And,
Um,
and and my team should be there as well, so we should be
okay,
at Berlin.
yeah.
So
Nigel and I will be on the stand again, I think, in our bright orange shirts.
yeah.
So, sorry I missed this topic. How do I join the PMI Infinity community to contribute?
Yeah, please drop us an email in terms of how you want to contribute. Like if you want to be a person who beta tests our products, like something that is new, upcoming new, we'll test it with you, work with you to get your feedback and make improvements. That's one area of work, and the other one is a contributor program in terms of content. If you want to write content for us, that's another area. So whatever, how much bandwidth you have, depending on the bandwidth, please drop us an email and I'll connect you with the respective folks.
This seems quite a popular question. I know you've answered it before, but people are kind of, I think, keen to find out.
Yeah,
Any further comment you can make on that?
I think it's significant difference. One is GPT-4 is able to hold a lot of context. For example, 3.5 is like about 4K context window. GPT-4 offers the initial context window is about 8K tokens, and then there's also 32K tokens. What that basically means is that we're able to process that much more information. The model is able to process that much more information to produce a response for you. Right? So at once, I'm able to give it a pinbox. I'm able to give it another couple of sources for it to process, and then produce a response for you. Right now with GPT 3.5, we've broken down all our content into what we're calling as content chunks, right? So the pinbox is broken down to maybe like 100 content chunks, and only the content that is relevant is passed on to process and produce a response for you. With GPT-4, we'll be able to process a larger context of content and produce much more results. It has ability to produce visual results. It has ability to analyze your documents, understand, upload documents. It has ability to sort of like take your responses, put it into a document for you, and then you can download it. And there's also like voice capability and stuff like that, which we're not working on right now. But again, GPT-4 obviously allows all of that.
Really looking forward to it. That's fantastic. Let's finish up with a final question. This is from Sam Lung. Sam actually works with me doing quite a lot of work within Infinity and ChatGPT, etc. So, how does PMI Infinity approach data privacy concerns, especially regarding the handling of personal or sensitive information within project management contexts?
Yeah, so we don't share our data with OpenAI. It's only in our in terms of storage of data, we focus on storing prompts and responses only for our analysis, internal analysis purposes. We don't have any plans to monetize any of the data. It won't be shared with any of the large corporations. So that is one way that we are sort of handling all of information of our users. But we are continuing to work and understand more, like if there are barriers for adoption with organizations, we want to understand that and then adequately help you out. If that sort of answer the questions, or if there's anything specific you want to, if there's
Yeah.
anything specific, yeah, I can answer that.
Okay, I think that's great. Well, I think we're up to time, Ranjith. This
Yeah.
has been absolutely superb. So thank you for that. It's for us, it's a really the time is absolutely right. We're just about to launch our own AI and project management community. We kick that
Okay.
off in the next couple of weeks. We've got a lot of people that want to be involved in that. So the PMI UK chapter will look to take the lead in that area. And do please check out our events. We've got other events coming up, including an important in-person event in London related to AI on the 17th. But check out the website. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for
Thank you.
attending. And yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. And anybody who wants to be connected with me on LinkedIn, here's my link. Stay connected. Thank you. Bye.